Assalamu alaikum. Masahal how to all good citizens. In today's Arabic News Special Edition, we have two special guests from the government today. They are going to talk about our beloved country, United Arab Emirates. Now we're going to move on to reporter Alif to interview one of the guests.
Thank you, reporter Aiman. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and ahlan wa sahlan. Today it is our pleasure to have Ms. Fatiha, one of the PA of Minister President. Can you introduce yourself?
Syukran kepada Ali.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurul Fatiha and I'm personal assistant of the United Arab Emirates President, Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed Al Nahyan. Thank you for inviting me. It's such a pleasure.
To open up our segment, can I ask a question to you? Can you briefly tell the viewers about the background of our country?
Okay. Firstly, United Arab Emirates is a country in the eastern part of the Arabian Peninsula, which is also located on the southeast coast of the Persian Gulf and the northwest coast of the Gulf of Oman. Okay, actually, the United Arab Emirates consists of 7 emirates, which is Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Sharjah, Ajman, Al Quwain, and Fujairah.
Thank you. Let's next talk about population growth.
Our population, currently, the last update is actually on February 2019, and the population in United Arab Emirates is 7.71 billion people, which the number of population is currently growing each day by day. So maybe around 7.71 billion people. But for all of the viewers and also reporter Alif's information, the population of men are really greater than the population of women, because currently, based on the survey done on 2018, the population of men is greater, which means that the percentage of men is 72%, which means it's currently around 6.89 million, while the population of women are only 28%, which is around 2.65 million. So it's really a big gap between the population of men and women in United Arab Emirates.
It is a really shocking number to us, especially to our country. Next, let's move on about economy. Can you describe about gross domestic product, GDP?
Okay, GDP is actually gross domestic product, which GDP measures the value of economic activity within a country. It is also the sum of the market values, prices of all final goods and services which produce in an economy during a period of time. But in United Arab Emirates, the GDP on December 2017, if I'm not mistaken, the GDP reached 382.58 billion USD. To compare with December 2016, the GDP was 357.05 billion USD. But the highest GDP that UAE has ever reached is on December 2014, which is 403.14 billion USD. It shows that the GDP growth rate for UAE had been increasing more than decreasing to compare with the other country. So for information, the GDP growth rate in the UAE averaged around 4.51% from 2000 until 2017, which reached an all-time high of 9.8% in 2006 and a record low of negative 5.20% in 2009.
Thank you for having with us in this program. It is short, but a lot of information that we gain here. Thank you. Let's move on to the next segment.
Now we're going to move on to reporter Shadiba.
Assalamualaikum. Ahlan wa sahlan ya khair. Today, I will introduce. He is the Minister Economic, Mr. Sultan bin Said Al Mansur.
Assalamualaikum. Unemployment rate of a country is defined as the number of unemployed people as percent of the labour force. It is also referred to those persons that are not working but actively looking for one. The labour force doesn't include people who are not looking for work, children and retired persons. From our statistics, we can see that the latest unemployment rate in 2018 are 1.71%. In 2008, the unemployment rate increased around 0.16 from 4.01 to 4.17, which have passed over 4%. But then it decreased around 1.89% from 2009 until 2015, which is a great achievement for us. From 2016, the unemployment rate increases until now, but had not exceeded 4%. Around 2008 to 2018, the highest unemployment rate in our country is 4.17%, and the lowest is 1.64%, which is in 2016. To compare, there is just 7 years difference. This means that the unemployment rate had been decreased over 2.53% in just 7 years, resulting over 2.53% of those who are unemployed being employed. In 2019, the reasons why the unemployment rate had reached over 4% is because first, we lack of previous experience and nepotism among the citizens. Second, the level of skills in demand does not meet the skill offered by the national population. In our country, most of the jobs are low skilled and low paid as well as labor intensive, which affecting the low interest by the citizens. Other than that, the skills of workers and wages also split the job markets between the private sector and the public sector. Actually, in 2019, our country had faced two challenges that increased the unemployment rate. First, the wages offered in the public sector are much higher, and secondly, the public sector also offers stronger job security, resulting in a lot of benefits and advantages if they were to work in public sectors. Lastly, the answer for unemployment is clearly to make new occupation. If we compare the unemployment rate in 2009 with 2016, the government had overcome some of the problems of the unemployment rate, but the percentage of the unemployment are still increasing. The low unemployment is because of high cost of living, which prevent employees from leaving jobs before they have secured a new position. The requirement of an employment visa or sponsor to live in the Emirate also prevents joblessness from growing, and most people seeking work based on other countries are not reflected in the figures. I think that's all about our employment rate.
Thank you, Mr. Sultan. So, how about the inflation rate of our country, Mr. Sultan?
Okay, first of all, I would like to explain about what is inflation. Inflation refers to an overall increase in the consumer price index, which is a weighted average of prices for different goods. The set of goods that make up the index depends on which are considered representative of a common consumption basket. Referring to the graph, you can see that the highest rate of inflation was in year 2008. It is because of oil reserve and crude oil production in our country are increased. So at that time, we have the better performance in rate of inflation and they can make more profit on selling oil to other countries. In 2019 until 2012, the rate inflation is dropped because of the oil price is decreased at the time. It is not good for our economy because the lower rate inflation cannot make profit on selling oil. The graph shows increase in the next 3 years. The increasing in the rate of inflation because of we overcome this problem using tourism sector. In these years, tourism sector has been growing and also helped to cover the problem of oil price decrease. But in 2016, we have to face the same problem, which is the problem of the oil price decrease. It is only for 1 year. Another 2 years, our inflation rate is increased.
Thank you, Mr. Sultan. It's such an honor for me to interview Mr. Sultan.
United Arab Emirates government has done many things in order to overcome the unemployment rate. If we look back to the graph, the unemployment rate has been decreasing for 7 years. To employ the residents and citizens of the country in a meaningful and efficient way by the government is called an Emirization. This is a very active program in the UAE. It is basically promotes the country's human resources in an optimal manner to get employed and encourage the multinationals to rely on the country's own human resource. The Emirates National Development Program (ENDP) has an aim which to integrate UAE nationals into the private sector. ENDP's future plan is to also to focus on reducing the number of unemployment persons and attracting nationals to work in different sectors, including construction, health, education, and logistics. So far, the ENDP has employed 13,000 national job seekers in private sector. This momentum will continue as the part of the national target is to double the emigration rate in the private sector in 7 years. Next, the government adopting two major initiatives which are setting quotas for hiring national and contributing to the cost of hiring them. Besides the government sector, most of the Emirates are attracted to work in security and defense, human resources, public and private sector organization, marketing and communication, as well as banking and finance. If there are jobs available with capable salaries in fields that are not typically attractive to the local community, then the government will shift and move toward those fields because there have been generally a huge favor on Emiratization over the past year. Lastly, to overcome the unemployment rate in UAE, the government should initiate active and effective labor market program which should target at least 5,000 job seekers per annum to lower the unemployment in the region.
By using contractionary monetary policy, the government of United Arab Emirates can raise the interest rate so that consumers will attracted to start saving money. It is because some will affect to decreasing of the money supply, aggregate demand. Then the decreasing of the price will affect the inflation, which is going to decrease. If refer to the graph from year 2012 to the end of the year 2015, the inflation is increasing slowly because interest rate in the past year are 1%. Then if we compare at the early on 2016, government start to increase slowly interest rate in 2 years to 1.5%, then 2% and increasing to 2.5%. By using fiscal policy, the government of United Arab Emirates can reduce the government spending. This will affect the main government decreasing their spending so that the consumer will not have to use the money often to spend on. For example, the services provided by the government like monorail, people did not have to spend more if there are more monorail in one place. This also affects aggregate demand to decrease along with the price to decrease. This will show the result of the inflation will reduce too. As referred to the source, in 2017, the government spent 12.32% of GDP, while in 2016, the government spent 12.53%.